Hey, come here. You like pro wrestling? We got a little something for you. Two fans, 3,000 miles away. We each been watching for more than 30 years. Celebrating the art form, the action, the homoeroticism. We ain't rating matches. We ain't analyzing stories. We ain't experts. We just sit down, shut up, and mark out! Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Sit Down, Shut Up, Mark Out. I am Blade Daily, and I am joined on this pro wrestling podcast about pro wrestling with the one and only Books. And Books, how you doing? Are you probably normal, right? Just normal?
I'm completely normal. I'm just, I'm level-headed, no extra emotions, nothing. I don't run a cult for a certain wrestler, so it's like...
Right. You don't lead the Church of Kenny Omega.
I don't lead the Church of Kenny Omega, so I'm completely normal.
No, we haven't talked about that many times on this show either.
No. I run a cult, and it's called the Church of Kenny Omega.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, you do run the Church of Kenny Omega. Every time there's an opportunity to sing the praises of Kenny Omega, we both do it because Kenny's my personal GOAT. I think he's the greatest.
Don't forget, though, you have a weird obsession with a bald-headed sock.
I mean, look.
Who doesn't know socks. Like.
If Kenny had been more respectful to Don, none of that would have happened. But that's not what we're here to talk about today.
Kenny just proved he doesn't need Don. You know who Don needs? Kenny.
Yeah. No, I think that's true. And I think where we go next is going to be fascinating. So Dynamite this week. I think it was an all-timer Dynamite, but I think it was the best Dynamite of this year by far. And I also think we are finally getting the seeds planted for All In and where we're going to go from here. And that's been maybe missing a little bit in the build to basically beach break. Books hasn't paid taxes since 2019. Big part of running a cult, according to Blair Line.
It's the best part about paying a cult.
Yeah, you told me that. Now, have you actually been approved as a religion, though?
Not yet. They still don't understand that he's a god.
Yeah, I think that you do need to be official to not pay your taxes. So, fat.
Guess I need to pay my taxes.
Oh, Kenny, who aren't our one-winged angel. You
guys are also welcome because I've also been studying under the Church of Final Fantasy VII the last month. Well, not 2 weeks since Revelation was announced. So I think the combined efforts of me rebracing Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy VII Part 3 being announced, have all helped manifest
Final Fantasy VII Part 3.
Yeah, Revelation.
So it's a game so big that they made 3 different parts?
Yeah, remake, rebirth, and revelation. And they expanded the story. Yeah.
Okay. Probably made a shitload of money.
Yeah, they're going to continue taking my money.
Just call me DJM is here to celebrate the GOAT. Yeah, that's pretty much what we're all here.
Nothing else happened on beach break.
Yeah, Blair Line 7 says just misspell his name as Kenny Omaga and they won't ask for your taxes.
I feel like that might upset Kenny, though.
Kenneth Jerome Rome in the house. That's right. Kenny is, we had a lot of people talking about Kenny's middle names on social media, and I maintain that his middle name is Kenneth Jerome Omega. And I believe that was originally said by Big E from New Day. I believe that came from him, and I think I heard that somewhere, and I just started saying it myself. Little programming note before we get too far into the show. I'm taking next week off, bitches, because I don't want to get burned out. And it seems like a smart time because there was no fucking way I could take this week off. Basically, I just want to take a week off because I have a project that I am working on that I need to give my full attention to.
He doesn't have a project. He's lying to you.
But
he's lying. He does not have a project.
Books, you know what the project is. We're not going to say what it is.
I don't know what your project is.
It's not done yet, but it's going to be done soon. And Books, who should have my back right now, but is just selling me out. So I won't we won't be live next week. We won't be live. We won't have a podcast out. Please, if you haven't already, go back to some of those special episodes where I interviewed people who sit on the board of the Concussion Institute with Christopher Nowinski. Go listen to, anything you haven't heard before. Listen to me and Justin interview Jake DeLeon. It's going to be a good time.
Oh, I am. So yeah, I took multiple weeks off and days. I took Monday off too. So I was really excited too for Monday.
It was sad that you weren't here. So if you guys don't know what we're talking about, Pro Wrestling Forever is the other podcast that I'm a part of with Professor Degree. Books was going to be our special guest, but she wasn't feeling well, had a migraine. And we were reviewing Ready to Rumble. And Professor Degree was just all like, oh, well, according to my training at Juilliard, this isn't good. And I'm like,
no, I mean, it's objectively a bad movie.
Of course it's a bad movie.
But it's so bad, it's good.
Yeah. Yeah. We also interviewed Kid Bandit last year. Pip and Justin and I.
Yeah, that was a good
Kid
one.
Bandit. That was a really good one. Kid Bandit since retired, as it turns out. But yes, listen to older episodes because they're out there. But Books, it's time. It's time for the Kenabration. And last week, we talked extensively about the Stip and how a lot of people fucking hate it, including you, and pretty much the entire chat.
I was gonna say, you might have been the only one who was like being slightly positive.
Yeah. No, it was weird. So this week I did an experiment where I didn't live thread or participate in the group chat at all because I wanted to see if my opinion was so far off everybody else's because it felt like I was the only person who was okay with it. Right. So It was just an experiment. I was curious. And in this case, no, it wasn't. So I remained confident that Kenny would win, but I realized during the show that my okayness with the Stip was entirely based around Kenny winning.
Yeah. And that's why I was not okay, because I knew that there was a 50% chance that they would have him lose. So I was not okay.
Yeah, absolutely. It also meant that as we watch this match, we're going to be ready to puke the entire time, right?
I was ready to puke. I've never had that much stomach reactions to a match. Like, I was nauseous. I had, like, the butterflies were going into my throat because that's how nervous I was. I was like, don't do this to me, Tony. I didn't really get to enjoy Kenny's first run. I was barely watching wrestling. I really didn't get into AEW until the first Grand Slam, so towards the end of his run. And now that I run a cult, you don't want to give me this?
I was thinking about that today, is that this would have been the first time that you really got to be a part of Kenny being a world champion. And so that's really cool. Fuck You Mama 2 times says, what's up, Books? We don't have to take a long break from the product because they decided to belt up the god of pro wrestling.
You have no idea. Because especially this, even before this match, this was a Dynamite that kind of revitalized my love for it. Like, I needed this Dynamite.
Yeah, well, it's weird because it's felt like AEW's been kind of running in place for 6 weeks. I haven't even thought the shows were bad necessarily. There's been the women's issues, which have pissed me off for sure.
But the shows have still been pretty good.
I haven't felt as excited, and it's weird because in my opinion, Double or Nothing is the best AEW pay-per-view of all time. And pretty much from that moment to this last Wednesday, I've been like, they felt a little stuck. Yeah, something wasn't clicking as hard when you're coming down from the pinnacle of greatness like this,
I wonder if that's what people felt like during that 2023, 2024. But I still had rose-colored glasses on at that point where I didn't think the product was bad.
Well, and I would say that's fair. I would say that the shows weren't bad. I mean, it was still getting, it was still voted the show of the year every single year by the Wrestling Observer. Dynamite has literally won Best Wrestling Show of the Year every year of its existence.
And that's because Tony just likes to give us little pay-per-views every other week. He's like, you know what? Some people can't afford pay-per-views. I'm just going to be a level-headed, somehow grounded billionaire and respect that.
Mm-hmm. We didn't have the stip ruin our lives. Okay.
Yes. Thank God.
And the side benefit of me not live threading or in the group chat was that if Kenny lost, I wouldn't have a public crash out, which definitely would have happened. I would have been so pissed.
That's why I didn't say anything till that match. Because I was like, oh my God, I don't want to be that person. And I was just going to put my phone down if he lost.
Now, I'd said during the build to Hangman's match with MJF that MJF would eventually have to lose this stipulation at some point, right? And I thought it would be with Hangman, and then he won, okay? And we even theorized as a group last week that MJF will eventually have this stipulation turned against him, most likely, right? Which I do think makes a lot of sense for them to do from a storytelling perspective. Pippin said this match gave us all diverticulitis, and I agree.
Probably.
Never have I been so happy to have it, though. You know what I mean? Never have I been so happy to have it. Pippin also adds that Kid Bandit is retired as an in-ring performer, but is now running her own wrestling promotion, which I did not know. We should get Kid Bandit back on the show. We really should. The only time I'll be 100% on board with that stip is if it's used on Jericho,
Agreed.
Says Skewered Universe. Oh my God. Blair Line makes a fair point. I will say the stip adding like nothing to Kenny's title win, like I would have enjoyed it just as much without the stip. I mean, That's fair. That's fair.
I actually probably would have had more fun going into the match.
Yes.
And enjoying said match.
Blair Line also makes a great point. The person who needs to turn that stip on Max is Jay White. He's the only person who can out motherfucker MJF. It's true. It's true. And Skewer Universe adds that the AEW title protects Kenny's guts from exploding.
It
Your
does.
freaking guts exploded, Kenny! Okay. So the show starts with a very serious promo from Kenny. He's with Renee, and Michael Nakazawa is behind him. This is a man who used to pull his underwear off during matches, so it's always hard for me to see Michael Nakazawa in a serious light. But it was cool. It reminded me of Starrcade 1993 when Ric Flair was going to wrestle Vader. And throughout the entire night, they were showing these videos of like Flair talking about, this might be my last time in the limo riding to the arena, blah, 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 blah. And then Flair won this match, you know, and it was like they really wanted you to believe he could lose.
Yeah.
And so Kenny just said, hey, if you got it in you, put me down, you know, but I don't think you do. I thought that was a nice touch. That was a nice touch.
Yeah. I was a little sad that because I'm going to agree with fuck your mama. I 100% when we saw Nakazawa, I was like, oh crap, he's losing. And then the Bucks not being there, I was like, fuck, he's losing. Like,
you know, when I started to think he might lose is when they did that little thing with MJF and Will Ospreay during the show, where they got into a brawl, which increased my anxiety massively because I'm like, they're already looking past Kenny.
Yeah. There's a lot of moments where I was like, nope.
Yeah. I really thought like the other thing that could happen is Ospreay comes out to get MJF, but he accidentally gets Kenny. Mm-hmm. And Kenny loses due to Ospreay, which would play into all this stuff they've been building between the two of them, right? But no, that didn't happen. And I was starting to envision nightmare scenarios. It was like starting to become a bad acid trip or something. An extremely tense and extremely fantastic episode of Dynamite.
Oh, and the Golden Lovers themed gear. I was like, oh man, this man is losing.
Everything felt that way, right? Like he comes out in a tribute to Coda, right? I honestly felt a little emotional when that happened because I'm like, wow, like maybe this is it. But yeah, when the main event time came around, I was on the edge of my seat. Justin Roberts gave Kenny the vintage entrance treatment.
Hold on. My still issue is, what is his issue with North Carolina? You have to go to Orlando? Come on, Kenny. If you're going for old school Kenny.
Well, yeah. No, I mean, I thought you might because, I mean, he specifically omitted North Carolina.
Yeah, like, what the fuck, Kenny?
However, Justin Roberts saying him having 95 career wins in AEW, not including his victory over diverticulitis. That was great. That was a really great part of the intro.
Just hearing that intro again just gave me like, I had a slight feeling he was winning when that happened. I was like, oh yeah, He might actually win this.
And I don't blame newer fans who didn't get to see Kenny in his prime, or really since really like he lost the world title the first time.
Mm-hmm.
He's been very infrequently in AEW as a wrestler. Like it's on, then it's off, then it's on, then it's off, then it's on, then it's off. So if he's not somebody's favorite, like I'm not going to hold that against him. You can't expect everybody to have an encyclopedic understanding of Kenny Omega's contribution to wrestling, right?
And I hope that this little run shows people like what Kenny's capable. I think this match alone showed what Kenny is physically capable of. Because again, he spent the last year really playing it safe. And again, I don't blame him for that because I do think he kind of returned probably a little sooner than he should have. But I mean, this man has spent the last 3 years seriously injured or sick, depending on how you want to look at it.
Yeah.
So, and we got some great matches when he was sick.
Right. Oh God. Yeah. I mean, right after his world title reign, he goes out to get a bunch of injuries fixed, doesn't come back till like midway through 2022. You know, then Brawl Out happens. All this other bullshit happens, you know. Then he ends up getting
they win the trios.
They win the trios. But he gets diverticulitis and yeah, he ends up leaving at the end of 2023 or wait, end of 2022 because he came back at the beginning of 2024.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So, and he came back way too early by his own account. So, you know, it's been very on and off with him.
Yeah.
Fuck Your Mama 2 times says this is the episode TK wanted us all to have diverticulitis. We can all feel Kenny's pain. Before we get too far into this, though, let's be clear about something before we start. Kenny is the best bout machine. He's the big match player. I don't think there's a better big match wrestler I've ever seen in my life than Kenny Omega. Okay. But MJF is in his fucking bag all the way and absolutely on the same level. Kenny did not do this incredible match by himself by any means. He carried no one. Max was absolutely fantastic in this match. He was fantastic. Unbelievable. Gary Parsiak, what would be some of the best Kenny AEW matches to watch? Just watch some of his best tag team matches. I would say in AEW, anything against Moxley is really, really good. Mm-hmm. Kenny versus El Vikingo on the March 5th, 2022, I think, edition. It's 2022 or 2023. That's one of my favorite Dynamite matches.
Kenny versus Danielson in Grand Slam. That is the match that made me the fan I am today. So I'm very partial, but watching that match live, was life-changing. So
there's an insane match at the end of 2020 that it's his first title defense that he has against Rey Fenix. That is unfucking believable. Really, really good. I mean, Kenny with Lucha guys is always super good.
Always good. Yeah. Trying to think of what I would even say Hangman versus Kenny.
Oh, for sure.
They've had some great matches.
So their match for the world title where Hangman takes the title is a great match. But the match they had the year before at Full Gear before that, where it was the end of an eliminator tournament, that's such a great fucking match. Definitely check those out. Tino's in the house, says, shout out to Kenny and MJF for being that sweaty and not constantly dropping each other. Yes. Oh my God.
I would also say if you can get to New Japan, I mean, Kenny versus Okada series is that you would know it was 4 matches in Japan, right? Yeah. Cause this was all in was 5. Mm-hmm. Some of the best wrestling you'll ever see.
Yeah. Fuck Your Mama 2 times says Kenny versus Vikingo is one of my favorite matches, period. Mine too. Vikingo was amazing and hate that he's stuck over there, like in triple A. Kenny versus Takeshita for the international belt is amazing. Yeah, that was from Revolution last year. Mm-hmm. And then Blair Line says Kenny's mature and experienced enough to have the brain to put together the best bouts ever. And Max is the guy young enough to bring those to life with the big bumps and athleticism. Well said.
Yeah.
Very well said. And we're going to get into that in a little deeper way than we usually do because this was an exceptional moment. More to Tino's point, it was 102 degrees outside when the show started. It might have cooled down to like a mild, 95 by the time this match started. In Florida, outdoors, humidity likely in the 90s, sweaty as fuck. The fact that neither one of these guys slipped and got seriously hurt was a miracle. It's just a miracle. This is one of my favorite matches in Dynamite history, not just because Kenny won. It's because the believability of every near fall was expertly sold.
I would say this is probably, obviously Danielson versus Kenny may always be my number one Kenny match, just because, again, being there live was a whole other experience. This is like right there. Like, this might be interchangeable, because to me, this was the Kenny I watched on New Japan when getting introduced to AEW. So I was like, holy shit, this was 2020 Kenny. Yeah, absolutely. And they brawled through the crowd. They told a story of each guy desperately trying to hit their biggest move. Kenny made a bunch of attempts at the one-winged angel, and Max kept getting out of it. Max kept trying to hit the heat seeker pile driver on Kenny. But Max took a fucking header through the announce table. Like, no one saw that spot coming. It was pointed out to me that it was a tribute to Mick Foley, actually, because in 1997, in a match that Foley had with Shawn Michaels, Foley did that exact same bump the exact same way. And they used a different table, like, because if they had used the normal one, it would have broke his neck, but like, you really, really, like, big props to Max for taking that bump. That was crazy. And it came out of nowhere. Max, being a wrestling nerd like he is, wrestling a match like this with Kenny was probably a dream match. Like, to get Kenny in like almost prime level probably made Max the giddiest little boy backstage. So he's probably willing to take, like, I feel like these are some of the craziest moves we've seen Max like actually take. He's probably like, I'll take anything from Kenny.
and it was perfect too, because they went to commercial right then, and that's the right time. If you have to go to commercial, do it then. When he's taking a bump, he's going to be on his back for a while. They're going to have the doctors fake checking on him and everything. So, it was crazy.
Fake medical come out.
Foley took the bump on a normal table. I will say that, because he didn't care if he lived or died, apparently. They come back. Max is still out on the apron. Kenny has all the advantage, but Max is super resourceful. And he's super smart, and he's tough as hell. This is what I love about Max, because in his return in 2024 and 2025, he kind of felt like he had reverted back to like troubled, immature, conflicted MJF, right? But since he's won the belt at World's End in 2026, he's been a completely different guy. He's no longer the future. He's right now. You don't compare him to up and comers anymore. He's compared to every other top guy, just like Hangman, just like Swerve. Max is possibly AEW's most important long-term asset, in my opinion.
He is. And that was part of why Mr. Books thought MJF was winning, is because Max is your guy right now. MJF is your star. That is your when you're putting your roster, that is your number one. And it's MJF. And it's crazy to think, because he's only 30. What is this kid going to be like doing? Not even kid, now he's an adult. What's this adult going to be doing in 10 years?
Well, and so Blairy and I were talking, online on Threads after the show, that Blairy said, he thought that these last two title reigns over the last 6 months were better than his first title reign, which lasted 14 months. It was way better. It was so much better.
He's also less annoying, though. I think we would have seen a little bit of old Max come out if he beat Kenny 3 times, which was kind of where I was a little worried. Because
not only is your fave losing a match with this stip, you have the guy who's going to shove it in your face over and over again.
Yeah. To a point where I probably would have turned AEW off for a while.
Yeah, he would have been insufferable. He really would have. Blair Light says last time we saw this Kenny was probably the match versus Swerve, and before that it was probably the match versus Gabe Kidd. Yeah, agreed.
That match versus Gabe Kidd really like made us all think Kenny was back at his prime, and then
yeah. No, and he had a long way to go.
And then and now it's been pretty consistent. Like when he's in a ring, you know you're getting a solid match.
Yeah. Fuck Your Mama 2 times says, I know this match isn't in AEW, but it's the catalyst to what we're going to get at Wembley. Kenny versus Ospreay at the Tokyo Dome. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Ospreay's. So I always liked Will Ospreay. I always thought he was a great wrestler. But his selling in that match, because the story of that match is that Ospreay suffers a terrible injury that has him out on his feet the entire fucking rest of the match. And he's kind of kicking out on gut instinct and stuff for most of the match. And Kenny is a freakish heel who's like fucking going back to being true cleaner Kenny from New Japan and being a madman. And then they have another match at Forbidden Door later that year where Ospreay beats him with a screwdriver. And so this match at All In is going to be the rubber match between these guys. Yep. So, you know, it's crazy.
I have a lot of theories, but I'm not getting into them yet because I can see this going 1,000 ways right now.
Yes. So one of the best parts of both Kenny and Max is their selling. Max was selling a knee injury, which he's done many times, but we know for sure he hyperextended his knee like 3 or 4 weeks ago, right? What I loved, at one point, Kenny gets slingshotted from the outside inside into a diamond cutter. And instead of just getting in position for another move, Kenny rolls out of the ring in kayfabe to not take another hit. You know, like he knows he's fucked up.
He doesn't need his guts to explode, okay?
Yes.
He's like, let me get out of here.
And it felt more real. It felt like that's something a smart person would do if they were in that situation, you know? But they brawl up the ramp to the beach break set. Kenny hits a moonsault off the lifeguard chair.
When he did that, let me tell you, the way I screamed, I was like, this is old Kenny. Like, Kenny, like, last year would not have done that move. I mean, like, yes, he's did some, like, shit with Ospreay, but there was a shit ton of people there.
Yeah. No, it was super cool. And props to MJF for catching him very cleanly. But, you know, Books, that we all know one of the huge moments in this match comes when Kenny sets Max on the top for an avalanche one-winged angel. These dudes are so fucking sweaty. I'm watching them set up this spot going, oh my God. Anything could go wrong.
Do this?
Can you imagine if Kenny slips and just falls straight on his head?
You know what? I wasn't really worrying about that in the moment because I am not a pessimist. But thanks for making me now worry about this.
Well, for pointing out what an evil person you are for not considering these things.
Or am I just know that they're very good at their jobs and wouldn't do anything that would risk their lives.
I mean, I don't know. It's if Max's leg slipped and Kenny was in mid motion, because you do a backflip that you make look like you land on your head when you take a poison rana, you know? So anything could have gone wrong. Kenny gets MJF on his shoulders and MJF hits an avalanche poison rana, then immediately hits the heat seeker pile driver on Kenny, covers him. The sell by Kenny Omega in this was so fucking good. This is top tier wrestling shit. Kenny registers the pile driver with his whole body like he got knocked out, right? Max covers him, and it's 1, 2, and then Kenny looks like he comes back to life with a spasm and just barely gets his shoulder off the mat. But he did get his shoulder off the mat. Unbelievable.
Kenny,
I thought he was dead. I thought it was over.
Went into this match with, I'm going to show everyone doubting me why I'm considered the best.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what he proved why he's considered one of the best in-ring performers. And he did that. He did that. Like, no one can question his selling. No one can question like his in-ring storytelling because he did it. Like, this was so much old Kenny. Like, it was to be a fan, but not really at his peak, to see the Kenny that I went back and watched. I don't want to cry, but it felt nice to see.
It really did. It really did. And when Kenny kicks out, the crowd loses their fucking mind, you know, because Kenny's having this like.
It was at that moment where I was like, if Kenny loses, Tony Khan better have a private jet, a helicopter ready, because people will storm backstage. Like, that crowd was not for MJF one bit. It was a Kenny crowd, and there was gonna be a riot if Kenny lost.
Yeah, I mean, when he hit the heat seeker, I was like, oh shit, like that's bad. That's real bad. MJF tries to bring the belt in the ring after Kenny kicks out. The ref takes it away, which allows Max to put the Dynamite diamond ring on. Ospreay runs down, and I'm ready to fucking throw up. Okay, because I'm like, oh shit, this is not good. Like, but Ospreay just takes the ring and kind of goes back up the ramp, right? And the ref is distracted with Ospreay, and then Max goes and grabs the belt and fucking brains Kenny. Wait. Yeah, no, Kenny grabs the belt is what it was.
Grabs the belt.
Kenny grabs the belt. He's debating whether to knock Max out with it or not, which is hearkening back to what he did to Moxley when he won the title the first time.
He has skeletons in his closet.
And he decides not to do it, and then Max fucking hits him with a low blow, grabs the belt, and brains Kenny with it. Now you're like, fuck.
So it's really funny because I didn't have the same reaction when Ospreay came out. When Ospreay came out, because in my headcanon, both Kenny and Will know what it would mean for Will to beat Kenny for the belt.
Oh yeah.
Like, so I'm like, I was like, when Will came out, I was like, Kenny might actually win this, because I think they both want it to be Will beating Kenny. Like, that was my headcanon for this, why Kenny was going to win. So when Will came out, I was like, yeah, I'm no longer worried.
Yeah, I was so far past the point of rationality by this point that it was like, what if Will tries to hit a hidden blade on MJF and takes Kenny out? You know, what if? You know, there was just all these nightmare scenarios running through my head. And I'm watching Will go up the ramp as he's getting yelled at by Remsburg, right? And I'm like, he needs to disappear. He needs to fucking disappear. He needs to go away. But MJF hits Kenny with the belt, and then he goes for the cover, and I'm like, oh, fuck. Kick out at 1.
I lost my shit.
Everyone else in the sport of professional wrestling, stop doing this spot. You'll never do it this good.
Never.
The crowd is like having an orgasm collectively. Like, it's insane. I'm screaming in my apartment. Like, I'm the only one here.
I screamed there too. I was like, there's no way Kenny kicked out at 1. Because, like, and it didn't look cheesy. It didn't look stupid. Like, it was like Kenny in that moment leveled up. Like, because we, you know, Kenny Omega has the whole video game stuff. It was like, this man just, like, gained a life, gained a heart back, leveled up, like, is in, like, hero-gasm mode, and just said, fuck this shit. I'm like, oh.
Yeah. Buggy Mama 2 times says Kenny wins the belt and All In has an uptick in sales. I think they sold 1,000 tickets since he won on Wednesday. I mean, it's Friday as we tape this. So
I know people don't agree, but I think Kenny versus Ospreay is the bigger ticket than Ospreay versus MJF. Like,
we're going to talk all about that. We have to, because some people are really think that there's a certain segment of MJF's crowd, and it's not because of him. It's not because of anything he did. They think he is the greatest fucking shit that's ever happened. He is worth 10 times more than anybody else in AEW. And if he loses, they kind of act like when Punk loses or whatever. Like, that Punk's the greatest. How could you do this? He's the biggest draw, blah, 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 blah. And I guarantee you, Max doesn't look at things that way. No. Like, he doesn't see it that way at all.
Max is a wrestling nerd. He himself would sees the importance of Ospreay versus Kenny outside of America. Like, All In is outside of America. You are getting fans in that have watched New Japan, who have watched other things, who understand what a marquee match this is. Like, This is round 3 of Kenny versus Will. Like, this is huge.
Kenny kicks out at 1. Will has that look on his face like, oh shit.
Oh shit.
And then he finally walks around the corner to the back, and I'm like, yes, okay, great. 3 V triggers. Like, it's Max is just spiritually broken at this point. You know what I mean?
I have a question. Does anyone see Kenny slap to get those sounds? Or is that legitimately the sound of his leg connecting to Max? Because I swear to God, I have never heard a move that actually sounds like it hurts until that. Because it was just like...
This is like where Kenny's a magician. So I think the way he does a V trigger, and I've tried to isolate this and figure it out for myself, I think his shin is what actually connects, which is nowhere near as bad as a knee, right?
Yeah. Or it's his upper thigh. It's something.
Yeah, when he lifts his leg, he always has his hands in front of him, and he smacks his thigh like right as the move connects. And it's masterful how he does this. Yeah. Like it's insane how he does it. This is
why he's considered one of the best. Like you're like, well, how are you doing these? How are you making these sounds?
Yeah,
like
he's a magician. He really is. So after Ospreay goes back, my butthole unclenched, and Kenny hits 3 V triggers and 1 winged angel, and fucking pins MJF clean in the ring. 1, 2, 3. New AEW Men's World Champion. Oh my fucking God. The All-In graphic shows up on the screen showing Omega defending against Ospreay. WrestleGasm is happening in August. We are getting another Ospreay Kenny match, the rubber match. The mentor versus the mentee. There's all kinds of story beats that they've planted between now and then. It's rumored that MJF, I saw Meltzer saying that it's believed that MJF wanted them to move this matchup. I'm not sure if that's because he's hurt or because if he felt it was just better to do it on TV or whatever, right?
Either way, thank you, MJF. Again, MJF as a character is MJF. Max as a wrestling fan just knows ball.
Yeah. Yeah. He knows ball. Yeah. Skewered Universe, MJF, the wrestler, hates that he lost. Max, the real person, is probably excited as a kid to watch Kenny versus Will. Of course he is.
If Max is not at all in, that man is going to sit there, like, with popcorn, everything around him, and just, like, take notes.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. And Blurry Line says, rather than slapping his leg with his hand, he knees his leg into his hand. That makes a lot of sense.
Okay, yeah. Now I'm gonna have to rewatch it just to see.
Oh, Larry, I think that is the magic trick right there.
Like I can see when the Bucks slap themselves because they're pretty obvious. Kenny is one who's eluded me, where I'm like, wait, where are these sounds coming from?
Yeah. Skewered Universe says that Blade was finally able to let out the fart he was holding in when Kenny won. I will say that my colon did cleanse itself after this show. That is true. Says, finally going on that honeymoon. Benny the Bear in the house. What up, buddy? Hey, all. And the world rejoiced and let out a collective battle cry. We sure as fuck did.
We did.
We've already spent 45 minutes talking about Kenny. Like, just Kenny. Too fat to cook. Max is going to get that belt again and again and again. That's 100% correct.
Oh, yeah. Max is going to end up being probably one of the most decorated people
I suspect
AEW.
He will be the most decorated champion in AEW history when he retires. Yeah.
Yeah. I do think it's time that we can give like Max a little break for a little bit. Like, let's keep him out of the world title. Because again, the kid, I keep calling him kid. The man is 30 years old. Like, let's not tire people out on him.
He's had a lot of help. But in the main event, Max has carried the main event for 6 months, 7 months. Like, he's done a great job.
Oh, 100%. I'm not taking, like, I'm just saying you don't want people to get tired of someone like MJF.
No,
like
you don't.
He's someone who does need to take some steps back every once in a while. So you go, I really miss MJF causing trouble. And then he comes in, he causes trouble. Every time can be a little longer. Then he goes away for a little bit. Then he comes back.
I'm going to have to make a short of you doing this. So, I like how you have now you have a visual guide that you can do, demonstrations with. Rarusha, I swear my trachea erupted with thunder after the kick out at 1. Blurry Line elaborates. He kind of has his hand in the position where it's ready to slap. Notice before Kenny hits a V-trigger, his arms are kind of in a penguin position to his side. It's very clever and way less obvious.
This is why Kenny's the best. Because he knows how to do this shit without being a wrestler. If that makes sense.
Absolutely. But, he is, of this era or any other, in my opinion, Kenny is the GOAT. And he proved why. Dave Meltzer, for what it's worth, rated it 5.5 stars. I think it might be my favorite Dynamite match.
Is that Max's highest match?
I don't know. I wonder if the Danielson Iron Man match might be higher. I don't know. But as great as Kenny is, MJF is a master of building crowds up and pulling them back down. So you had two of the best really at all ever.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy to say that about Max this young, but it's true.
You have a living legend and someone who's going to be a living legend.
I did see some people literally said they didn't want to see Kenny versus Ospreay because they've seen it before. And I was like, we've seen MJF versus Ospreay twice before, including one time at All In. What are you guys talking about?
Kenny versus Ospreay once on AEW.
Yeah. It was in New Japan and one in AEW. And it was great. So the Danielson Iron Man match, Dave gave 6 stars.
Okay. I was just wondering because you don't really think about MJF getting a lot of star matches for some reason.
Rarusha makes a great point here. When all is said and done, MJF is to AEW what AJ Styles was to TNA. So true. So true.
He didn't go down as a huge part of as important to AEW as Kenny and the Bucks. And I think they look at him that way too. You can kind of tell them by the way AEW has pushed him.
Yep. Benny the Bear adds, Kenny also has a stutter step, much like Alex Shelley or Muda, so there is so much movement during the V-trigger. Love a great Muda call out, man. Muda is, I think he moved cooler than anybody in the history of wrestling, honestly. So I don't blame newer viewers who may not understand Kenny. He's been very infrequently featured the last year and a half. We can't expect everyone, like I said, to have kind of an encyclopedic understanding of his run in AEW from 2019 to 2021 and New Japan from 2016 to 2018 and DDT before that. But others just don't understand the level of international star that Kenny is. And when you're having an event in England, being an international star is a huge thing. When Kenny was in New Japan, it didn't matter where he wrestled. He would wrestle in Europe. He would wrestle in Japan. He would wrestle in Mexico. He would wrestle all over the place. And those shows were in such demand when he was there because the opportunity to see this guy who literally made his name in Japan and did such an amazing job that he became a star in America without even wrestling here. You know what I mean? He'd come to Ring of Honor once a year.
There are articles it was on a wrestling one because that's how Mr. Books discovered him, where he was deep back into WWE and was like, yo, this Kenny guy is nuts. Because he started becoming mainstream here because of how big he was overseas. Kenny isn't this is what annoys me when people are like, Kenny needs to go to WWE to be cemented a legend. No, wrestling is so much bigger than America, and outside of America, Kenny is like an all-time great. Like, like you're gonna get people coming in from like Japan to All In now because people want to see Kenny versus Will. Like, especially if this is the level of match that Kenny can do.
Well, and I think when you look at Kenny and the Bucks and Hangman, right? But I'm talking specifically about Kenny. He redefined what being a wrestling star is in this era. And what those guys proved, and Cody gave this up to go back to be, you know, the top guy in WWE, whatever. But like, they redefined what it means to be a top star in the wrestling business. It meant you didn't have to have a WrestleMania moment. It meant this promotion doesn't exist without them. Period.
Yeah.
Without the excitement around Kenny Omega, you don't get All Elite Wrestling.
No.
It got the indies hot again. It got all kinds of wrestling hot again.
I forgot they got Bullet Club into Hot Topic. like thinking that they can't have these legendary careers because they haven't had a WrestleMania moment. I mean, how many wrestlers can say that they got so big overseas that Hot Topic wanted their shirts? How many wrestlers can say we were so popular and so good that we worked with someone to start a successful promotion that had people coming to watch because they heard of us?
Yeah, and when people say like, well, they could have done it without him, it's like, it's called All Elite Wrestling, guys. All Elite Wrestling. Okay.
And the elite is always gold. Like, they've made it very clear that the elite are like AEW. Like,
yes. Yeti Malone says yesterday when Mitch McConnell was on the phone for 20 minutes, Kenny Omega versus MJF Beach Break 2026 was all he would talk about. That, well, and a little bit about Iran. Funky Mama 2 times says Dave gave Kenny and Max 5.5 stars, but still hasn't rated Mercedes and Mile World match.
Because he doesn't want to give them 5 stars because he hates American women's wrestling. So
I have long been like, why do people hate Dave Meltzer the way they do? And I've always felt it's kind of ridiculous, right? But Dave is not helping himself right now. This is stupid. Dave, treat this like it matters, dude, because like you're the ratings guy.
He hates American women wrestlers. And he's not going to want to give that 5 stars.
He's not beating the allegations with this. You know what I mean? He's not beating the allegations.
I get shit every time I say that, and then he continues to prove me right.
Yep. Tino says, Kenny, it was a name I had heard when I wasn't even watching wrestling. He's huge. And to say he's not because he never worked for that one company is ignorant. I mean, beyond ignorant,
well,
right?
That's just their cult line. They think WWE is the end all be all, and it's not. Like,
yeah.
I'd much rather have an international name than be in an American bubble. So
I had New Japan World, but I didn't watch it all the time. I didn't watch a lot of the stuff live on New Japan World in the beginning because it was on at weird times or whatever. I was mostly watching it to watch old New Japan stuff that I had always wanted to watch as a kid. You know, old Jushin Liger matches and shit. Muda matches, all that stuff. I knew Kenny had turned on AJ and become the new leader of the Bullet Club. I had seen him wrestle before, and I was really taken with him. And then he won the G1. And I was like, whoa. And then after he had that first match with Okada at Wrestle Kingdom, it was like a tidal wave. Like the most amazing thing that ever happened in the history of ever just happened, right? And every time they touched after that, I made sure I was watching. Because like you're watching magic.
Yeah. Those matches changed wrestling landscape, how wrestling in ring is told. I mean,
they changed the business, period. Period. Skewered Universe says Kenny Omega is proof you don't need to just wrestle in America or the WWE to be a huge star on an international level. Rarusha says, you know, now I have a new respect for Corny not being in the cult. I wonder if this match impressed even him. I doubt it. I highly doubt it. It's everything Jim Cornette hates about wrestling. I just don't take that guy
and
seriously.
And Cornette hates Kenny anyway, so there's no
he
way
just hates Kenny. Yeah, he just hates Kenny.
He's not going to talk nicely about this at all.
No. Blurry Line said Cody had the chance to be something more, but he fell back into the old comforts. He saw a 20% built villa and claimed he'd laid every brick going back to the townhouse in the rich neighborhood. Yeah, exactly. I mean, Cody, look, he got in with the Bucks and Kenny because they were the hot thing in indie wrestling, period.
Cody's a leech.
I don't know them. I'm not saying they weren't friends or anything, but I don't think that, I think Cody made a very intentional decision and it was a good career move for him and he knew it.
Yeah.
And then Blair Line says he'd rather take credit for the work in progress instead of helping finish it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It would have been interesting to see what would have happened to AEW, where AEW would be if Cody stayed. Because Cody was a huge name. But I also at the same time think AEW would have stalled because Cody had way too much creative control.
By the time he left, he was actively holding AEW back, and I'll stand on that. I will stand on that. Skewered Universe says, Dave Misogyny Meltzer. I mean, it's hard to argue against that. And then other people did a better job of laying the further bricks. Yeah. Exactly. Okay, last comment for now. Fuck you, Mama 2 times says, Dave hates American women's wrestling unless she's Kendall Gray. I know.
I want to know how much Kendall Gray and WWE has paid him to say this, though. Because I don't doubt she's good. I don't doubt she's good. But Dave just picks random people sometimes to get behind. And that one just seems very random to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Blurry Line says Cody was the biggest star in the first 6 months of AEW. Like, we can't dispute that. No, we can't. No. But the problem was he blew it so bad with the crowd that they actively booed him. And, I think the crowd was really trying to push Cody in a direction that he just refused to go in. And that's why it got so ugly. He's
refusing to go. So, I mean, he hasn't learned from his mistakes. And guess what? History's repeating itself. So good luck, bud.
Hey, well, he's friends now with RFK Jr.
Hope you don't get disrespected there, because you like Punk or burning bridges left and right.
Tino says Cody moved back to the rich neighborhood during a housing market crash. It does have that energy, doesn't it? Kurt Jangle in the crowd. What up, buddy? AEW. Cody tried to fuck on me. Yes, that's true. Clear line, but by the time we're 18 months in, he's an active hindrance. Yeah, I would say pretty much when he hits the Anthony Ogogo feud and he gives that promo, where he solved racism and stuff. I think that was pretty much the end for Cody.
Yeah.
Always Never says Cody's a natural heel and he wants to be babyface so much. Yeah, he was a heel on the indies. That's why he got so big, because he was so good at that.
I don't understand how you have that tattoo and can't accept being heel. Only a heel gets that ugly ass fucking tattoo. You know what? I don't care if it's body shaming. I will fucking call that tattoo ugly any chance I get. He willingly put that on his body. He wasn't born like that. He willingly put that there for people to see.
It's just huge white nationalist vibes. It really is.
Have you seen that ice cream commercial that he's done where he's sitting in a locker room? But they purposely have him turned and he won't move, so you just see him like this, so you don't see the side of his neck.
Oh my god!
I'm like, even commercials don't want that stupid tattoo.
Security Universe makes a very cogent joke. Cody's nickname should be lit because he is his own worst enemy, which was played in the movie Ready to Rumble many times. It was in every movie made for like 2 years. And
because it was a classic, right? Like, don't lie that you didn't sing that at a bar drunk when it came on, okay? And
I did not.
And woo. Oh, you're lying.
I did not. No, I was not a woo girl, you see.
Liar.
So, I know it's going to be a short reign for Kenny. I really hope he gets 2 to 3 quality title defenses in before he drops to Will. But I got to say, to be honest, if this is Kenny's last run as champion, I do completely understand.
Yeah.
But seeing him wrestle this well only makes me understand what I am losing more. And I would love to see another 2 or 3 title runs for this guy.
And I don't think it is. I think this has a lot to do with the storyline with Will. My current prediction is because Kenny didn't utilize the belt, that Mox's whole skeletons in your closet is going to come back out. Will is going to do the same thing to Kenny. Mm-hmm. Will is going to have a full heel turn. It's not going to be Kenny. I don't think they'll give Kenny a reshot right away, but I do think this is not the last time we're going to see Kenny with a belt. I think this is just literally to give the people what they want and to give Will.
Well, they made the right call once you heard the ovation that they got at the end of that match. Like, oh my God.
See, even people in America want it. So it's like.
I've also seen people float the idea of a triple threat main event with Kenny, Max, and Will. And I just say fuck no to that because that's not the story. Will and MJF just don't like each other. That's the extent of their story. Kenny and Will have a layered, nuanced, deep story. And if you don't get it, that's fine. But if you think it sucks,
you're wrong.
Kind of judging you.
No, you're just wrong. And I'm hoping that they kind of do what they did before the Okada Kenny match. And that's pull and explain this rivalry, explain everything. The importance of Will turning on Kenny at Forbidden Door with the screwdriver. Like, all of these things have led to this moment. Like, this is a mentor and a mentee. I hope and I think they've kind of hinted that Kenny was once a mentor to Will. I don't think they fully have gone out and said it, but I'm kind of hoping we get like some sort of video package like Kenny versus Okada.
There will be a lot of story building into that match for sure. Kurt Jangle said, tattoos aren't body shaming. That was a choice.
That was
always
a choice.
Never. I am over old white men's self-importance and trying to tell us what we should like. Hey, preach. Even I am, and I'm an old white guy. Bleary line, Cody solved racism by fighting a black man who literally fought his way out of poverty by becoming one of the best young boxers in the world to an Olympic medalist to overcoming actual sight-threatening injuries. Yes, and Cody was the babyface somehow. And also, he's from the UK. What are we doing? The USA versus the UK? Like, this is like Revolutionary War shit? Like, what are we doing? Tino Ibarra says they play lit at hockey games all the time. Skewered Universe goes, please tell me why.
That was very off-key, by the way.
It was bad. Always Never said he had a dream tattoo. All he had to do is get it on the other pec. Yeah, so if he got the American Nightmare tattoo on the opposite side of his dream tattoo,
it would have made a lot more sense.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
This is Cody we're talking about.
Blade, was that a How I Met Your Mother reference? No, I have never watched that show. Kurt Jangle, just the announcement that Ospreay versus Omega is headlining All In sold 1,000 tickets. And Skewered Universe says Excalibur needs to narrate the rundown of the Ospreay Omega history. Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. So what happens at Redemption Books? Is there a match on the horizon you can see happening? And I'm asking the chat as well.
I think we'll get a match. You're not going to not have. This isn't the women's title. This is the men's world. Tony is not going to not have that on a pay-per-view. I don't know if we'll get a lot of defenses in between Redemption and then. Mm-hmm. We'll probably see Kenny on TV. But I can see a match like Kevin Knight or something, like something that is going to. You also don't want to. You don't want one that's going to risk injury with Kenny. So let's just be real. So,
do you think that maybe they do Okada and Kenny at Redemption?
Maybe. Yeah, I can see Don working his way to. But
because of the history and everything, yeah.
I also don't know if you're going to do two big matches like that right after each other. I also there's a part of me that thinks you need to save, because I'm assuming this will be the final Okada Kenny match because I think Kenny is going to win the series. I don't know if this is how they want it to end.
Yeah, I don't either. But I'm thinking if you want a big match, pay-per-view match, right? Like in between this and All In.
That's a huge one. I think Kenny versus Andrade would be big.
Yeah. Tino's saying that maybe Andrade versus Kenny, which could be true. Could be true. Yeti Malone, whichever tattoo artist agreed to put that tattoo on Cody's neck should lose their license. Agreed. Hey, Kurt Jangle, where did Books get the pack wrestle, buddy? Oh, wow.
There's no pack. They're all Kenny. They're all Kenny.
Fighting words. Do you think that between Will and Kenny, somebody's going to turn heel, like a real heel?
I think it's going to be Will.
Even going to his hometown where he's definitely not getting booed?
Yeah.
Okay. Will's the one showing that heelish tendency right now.
The skeletons in your closet, that moment where Kenny held up the belt and didn't do anything, is going to play a part.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be John Mox, because they're clearly not setting up the Death Riders to turn on John anytime soon. They're really playing up John and Will.
Do you think it's possible that we get Moxley versus Kenny at Redemption?
They could, but
I don't like the 2 belts thing. We all know that, but
I don't know if they're going to go that way yet.
Tino, y'all, somehow my son just took his diaper off while still wearing his shorts. Super impressive, and I need you all to know about it. Thank you, Tino. Thank you. I appreciate that. We did need to know that. Thank you. Okay, chat, let me know what you're thinking. It's hard to believe it would be Kenny after the ovation he just got. You know, like he's
Kenny's
in his Superman
right now.
Legends run. Kurt Jangle says Will turning heel at All In would be as effective as trying to turn Stone Cold heel in Texas. Yeah, that's true.
I just don't see. I personally like heel Kenny. I want it to be Kenny, but I think Kenny wants. I don't think Kenny's turning heel until something is going to happen with, like, him and the Bucks are all going to turn heel at the same time, and I don't know when that's going to happen.
Yeah. I don't think Kenny's turning heel. I don't think so. I think either they work it as like Will's conflicted and showing heelish tendencies, but ultimately does the right thing and beats Kenny, and he chooses Kenny's way over Moxley's way. And that's the story they tell, and beats Kenny, you know.
I'm assuming we're going to get a lot of heart-to-hearts between Kenny and Will Ospreay, and Kenny trying to remind Will who he really is.
Well, and I think it'll also get more tense as you get closer, too. It'll become more like it'll feel a little more like they're enemies, but in their hearts, they're really not, you know?
Yeah. My question is, how dorky is Kenny and Will going to be in those entrances? You got 2 video game dorks.
Oh, yeah, big time. No, I'm just, having Kenny Omega headline All In one time as your world champion, your men's world champion, you have to have it.
You need that for the legacy. And I'm actually going to agree with Too Fat to Too Cook here. Heel Bucks is going to happen when New Day come in. Because you're not going to have the New Day coming in as heels. They're going to come in as faces.
Well, sure. And the crowd can chant for New Day or whatever, and then the Bucks can resent that and turn on everybody because they're like, well, fuck you guys.
Yeah.
Well, keep telling me what you think's going to happen at All In. Kurt Jangle says Kenny should retire as a heel while putting someone over. To me, that's where the money is. Okay.
To me, Kenny is just a heel. I think he's so dorky, but for some reason, he's almost a different person as a heel. So have Kenny go out as a heel.
Skeward says Will beats Kenny at All In without using the Death Riders tactics. Then Will has to go up against Mox. That could be the catalyst with beating Mox to have the Death Riders finally turn on Mox. I could see that. And Tino says there's going to be serious combos about which Street Fighter character they want to represent. Blurry Line 7 does a callback to the Forbidden Door match. If Kenny doesn't floss with the Union Jack at Wembley, I'm requesting a refund. Hell yeah, exactly, because Will did that with the Canadian flag in Canada. Always Never says, I understand people have their preferences. I just don't really need hard face and heel alignments. Yeah. I like people doing heelish shit, but not being actual heels. Tweeners are more interesting for me.
And that's where Kenny shines. At being that.
And Ospreay's kind of acting like a tweener right now in a lot of ways, where it's like, and you know, Shane was on the show a few weeks ago, and his point is, look, it's very character motivated. So like, it's not about heels and faces in AEW as much as it's like, this guy wants this and he's willing to do whatever it takes to get it.
Mhm.
You know, it's about how desperate they are to get somewhere, and it may cause somebody to be a heel for a while or act heelish for a while or get booed for a while. But ultimately, they could be cheered the next day under the right circumstances. Always Never says, I would bet money the Death Riders never turn on Mox. I've been talking about the Death Riders turning on Mox for years. So, I mean, at this point, you would have won a lot of my money. So, yeah. Tino says, hope Kenny brings back the handlebar stash, the Harley race chops.
Oh,
the Harley race.
Same.
Kenny versus Will Ospreay supersedes any face heel dynamic. I agree. Skewered Universe, Ospreay coming out as Bane is proof he's not completely heel or babyface. He's just willing to do what it takes to get the job done. And then Always Never, I love playing with heel and face in the ring with the in-ring storytelling. And yeah, Kenny will play heel at All In for sure in the match, even if he's a babyface. But Books, we have like 4 other topics. So we're going to speed run through them.
Fine.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. The Fletchlight, Kyle Fletcher, went international at this same show. When he beat Takeshita, I was like, Kenny's fucked. They're not going to do 2 title changes on the same show. Well, wrong. Kyle Fletcher and Konosuke Takeshita had a predictably fantastic match earlier in the show. It was a great finish. At one point, Tak had Fletcher beat, but Don just grabbed his leg, and that's the amount of healing that was all that they needed. Mm-hmm. Like, a guy as good as Fletcher shouldn't need like 14 people to run in and beat him up, right? It was just, he took the advantage away from Takeshita when he had it. Takeshita selling a bad arm. He hit the Raging Fire but couldn't make the pin. Then Fletcher hits the sheer drop brainbuster. Take kicks out. Then Fletcher hits the avalanche brainbuster and pins Take. The DCF comes down to celebrate the new international champion. The conglomeration comes down to check on Tak, help him to the back. And then the DCF are in the ring through the commercial break for an interview with Mick Foley making his very first Dynamite appearance, which I thought was super, super cool. How much do we love Mick Foley?
He's amazing.
Doesn't it just feel like he's where he belongs?
Yes. Him with Dawn just made me so happy. I was like, I just want to see these two continue to go up against each other on the mic, because I think they are 2 of the best to talk. So let them do it.
2 guys basically from the same era who never really were in the same place at the same time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Bleary Line says, Mick has worked for AEW since day one. You cannot change my mind. You know how when you think of like what AEW was without Renee Paquette, and now it's so hard to think of Dynamite without her.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we're going to think about Mick, I think.
Yeah. Mick you can just see he looks happy there. Like,
yeah. Tino says, oh shoot, they're going to do Marvel versus Capcom at All In, aren't they? And Tino also says, Mick feels like a puzzle piece we didn't know was missing. He just fits so well. And Don, Mick's trying to interview Kyle, and he's trying to get some feelings from people again. And basically, Don just keeps cutting him off. And Mick goes, well, okay, we will make this about me then. Do you see on this shoe? This is my dog that we lost. He has a dog painted on his shoe. And this is my current dog, and she's alive and well and doing great. And if you ever cut me off like that again, or you ever talk to me like that again, she's going to know the inside of your colon pretty well, basically.
What an eloquent way to say I'm going to stick my shoe up your ass.
Exactly. Kurt Jangle says Mick made him believe in Santa again. Yeah. Yeah.
I have a question. Was I the only one who was not surprised Takeshita lost, though, knowing he was in the G1 and was going to need to be off of TV for a while?
I actually haven't seen the full G1 listings. I hadn't paid attention to it, so I didn't know for sure. I assumed he probably would be in the G1, but I didn't put the timing together that, yeah.
Yeah, the first round is Saturday, tomorrow, right?
Yeah, in Chicago.
Tomorrow.
In Chicago, yeah. Blair Line says, also Kevin Knight got a solo entrance, which pissed off the entire DCF, which was great. Yeah, he was brought out individually for his, and then he says he gets a title shot just because he was in that match, not that it was contingent on them winning.
Kevin Knight is only there to use the Don Callis family, is 100% going to be a part of the embassy when it happens.
Mm-hmm. Kurt Jangle says Mick's entire outfit was his dog's.
I mean, I get it.
I remembered like midway through the match that he had to go to the G1. And Tino thought about that too. Too Fat didn't know he was in the G1 too.
I saw a lot of people shocked, and I was like, I don't know. I wasn't surprised. I as soon as that match was announced, I was like, he's going to be in Chicago on Saturday. There's no way he's winning.
Tino says, also Gabe Kidd beat Shota. What's up with that storytelling? I mean, it's just for Gabe to be able to be a super dick.
I love the fact that Gabe Kidd is stuck overseas because of visa issues. Is like,
I know.
Crap, I've talked so much shit about New Japan for Forbidden Door.
And now that's the only place he can wrestle. Totally. That's hilarious. Tino hates Gabe Kidd. A lot of people hate Gabe Kidd. I like Gabe Kidd personally. I think he's very good at what he does.
I hate him because he's so good at what he does. But he's someone who's like MJF and does not break. So like
he also has mixed up his game in AEW where he doesn't like talk the same. Like he used to talk in this like put on this kind of big tough guy voice in New Japan more. And now he's not doing that as much. And I think it actually makes him feel scarier, kind of. But anyway, Mick's threatening to shove his shoe up Don's ass. And what should happen? The music hits. Andrade comes out.
How you know? How you know?
And I'm like, is this El Idolo for real? Ridolo? Like, what the fuck? He comes out in 100-degree weather dressed in a full suit with his coat, hat, and glasses. Okay. And Taz is like, yeah, he dressed for the weather. He says he was the best part of the Don Callis family. Says Don promised him the title. Now he wants to take a title. He guarantees he's going to take a title from Don. And Don says, if Andrade can beat Jake Doyle next week on Dynamite, he can have a shot at Mark Davis's national title.
Put the national on Andrade. By the way, put the national on Andrade and just send him everywhere because holy shit, what this man has been doing.
Yeah. And that's kind of the thing is like where I think he's going for redemption is Mark Davis.
Yeah. I forgot about that, title. To be honest. I just really liked Kenny and Andrade round one, so I guess I just want to keep watching two beautiful men.
Hey, they can still fight.
Shit out of each other.
Yeah. Tino says you got to commit to the bit. Kurt Jangle says if you look cool, you stay cool. I don't think that's how clothes work. Blurry Line says, I will say I was very tired of how you know when he first said it. Then they did it again with the exploding skateboard, and it went all the way back around to being funny again. Okay. So let's talk about that. So he says he was the best part of the family. The crowd is chanting how you know at him. The chants were super loud. The family's getting really agitated. And Andrade says, hey, tranquilo. Long pause. How you know. The crowd goes nuts. Brian Cage, Doyle, and Kevin Knight chase Andrade backstage. They can't find Andrade backstage. Darby shows up, but gets leveled immediately. He has another backpack. Kevin Knight refuses to touch it. So Brian Cage grabs his skateboard, which then explodes in his face and takes out Kevin Knight too. Doyle points off camera and goes, it was you. And the camera pans to Andrade, who is holding a detonator in his head. And he goes, how you know? It was so fucking funny.
So good. So good.
Really well done. But to Bleary's point, in order to keep the catchphrase, I don't want it to overwhelm his character, where they just want to say that thing and they're not appreciating Andrade himself.
Which, if they're not appreciating Andrade themselves, they are stupid, because how do you not just look at that man and appreciate him?
And watch his matches, too. I mean, like, this guy is...
Sure. But, like... Yeah. Sorry, I have a very hard time with my feelings for Andrade right now, because as a girl's girl, I should hate this man. Here I am like, oh, Andrade.
Oh, God. Sure. This was a hilarious way to do this. But they need to find ways like this to use the catchphrase to make it make sense instead of it just being this dumb thing. that everybody says, because in 3 months, people will get tired of it and they'll get tired of him.
You know what would be really funny? Just putting Leo Rush and Andrade together.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And one of them is him going, "It's fine. How you know? He knows. How you know? He knows."
Yeah.
Just give me that one time, please. I just want to see those two interact.
Yeah. Let's see here. Too Fat to Cook says Andrade should always have a title belt. Blair Line says Cage and Doyle are built for this kind of goon work. I totally agree. WWE would have buried this deep into the ground by now. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, they would have hated Andrade getting over by himself.
Yeah. Always Never. I love that How You Know has gotten over the skateboard spot, hits like Leo, and that it's fine with the backstage interview. It's locked in place. Yeah. Blurry Line says Books is thinking of some other kind of goon work.
I'm sorry, when Andrade's on screen, yes, I am. Sorry, Charlotte.
Skewered Universe. Even I swoon over Andrade, and I'm a happily married straight man. Yeah, I mean, Andrade, Kenny, Takeshita. I mean, it's kind of hard not to. Swerve. Tino, wonder if Darby was trying to reference the intro to the Lakai skate video, Fully Flared. No fucking idea what you're talking about. Fuck you, mama. 2 times we're going to have to change her name from Books to Goon. Books and Goonie Slams. So yeah, the trick will just be to keep him fresh. So the catchphrase doesn't become bigger than he is. If they can do that, Andrade is your next huge babyface star. Yes. And having heard him, he cut an incredible promo in English in Japan after he won the global heavyweight title. I know he can do this. TK seems like a full-on believer to me in Andrade. Mm-hmm. And I'm a full-on believer in Andrade. I think he's fucking awesome.
Yeah, somehow this man has taken really bad press and just like overcame it. And I'm just like, I gotta give him credit because like not every person is capable of that. So like,
you know what part of that was though, is he owned it and he goes, I was a terrible husband. She was a great wife. I was a terrible husband. He never said anything bad about her.
No, it somehow makes him more attractive. So make that make sense. Like, I know he's a shit person, but I'm like, oh, hey.
Well, he sounds like maybe a guy who's been shit who went to therapy, you know, and did some work.
He's had some therapy.
Yeah. Kurt Jangle says Naked Andrade has created his own goon work. Yeah, exactly. Every time I think you might be cool, Blade, you prove me wrong. Yeah, I know. I've been doing that. That's kind of my gimmick is if you think I'm cool, you are wrong. Yeah. Blurry Line says being very attractive lets you get away with a lot.
Pretty privileged.
Like being stupidly attractive. Yeah. I've gotten away with so much in my life because of my raw animal magnetism.
You're pretty privileged?
Yep, exactly. You know, I've been able to hot girl rules kind of, you know, been able to get away with that. So the women's casino gauntlet books.
Yeah.
This was a fun gauntlet.
I was actually pleasantly surprised.
Yes, so was I.
Tony did a really good job with booking this, so congratulations,
yes.
Tony. I won't shit on you for once.
It could have perhaps been a bit longer, maybe, but it featured 12 women and moved things forward in many ways for the division, which is probably all that you can really ask. It didn't pay off one story, it paid off multiple stories and set up multiple stories.
He's actually learning.
Well, it shows he's capable of it, and he probably always has been. But he was running in place because with the TBS title and all this other shit. You know, Sheeta actually got a fucking video package, you know, on this show, which was nice. We called it last week. We said Willow would be the surprise entrant and win, and she did. But, you know, the other participants were Athena, Maya World, Sky Blue, Mina, Rena, Julia Hart, Thunder Rosa. With Tekla on commentary. Some people said that Tekla was drunk during commentary. I'm not sure if that's true or not. So good. Because who can fucking tell if Tekla's drunk? Because she's unhinged and out insane all the time.
So I had an issue with Mr. Books here because he goes, wow, Tekla's funny. And I was like, have you not been paying attention? Like, have you not been paying attention to her on the mic? Because the girl is a fucking comedian. Like,
So yeah, she could have been drunk. I don't know for sure because she's always this unhinged, but 2 quick commentary highlights, and I'm paraphrasing. I never do exact quotes very well. Wrestling Mina Shirakawa is like wrestling a blow-up doll. I wish she liked me better. And then, wow, the ring is really filling up with dumb bitches. Amazing shit. Amazing shit. The announcers have no idea what to do with her. No idea.
She really is like she took what Tony Storm was doing and said, Tony, hold my beer. Like, I would love to watch them just on commentary together. Like 2 thirsty ass bitches just watching women wrestle. Like, just give me that. Because for some reason, it's so fucking entertaining. Can you imagine if Tony Storm heard Tekla say that about Mina? What the conversation would have driven from that?
Oh my God. And Tony would be like, I'm her husband. Like, how dare you talk about her that way? Yeah. Oh, I mean, it would be crazy. Let's see what the chat's saying here. Skewered Universe says he's owned up to his bad behavior and didn't try to make excuses. That helps to make you hotter. Probably. Blair Line, this face has paid off bounties in 13 countries. Yeah. Tino says Blade's mistakes are always overlooked because he's so short. Tino, you are literally like 7 inches shorter than me. Blair Line, Tekla might have overtaken Tony as the funniest woman on comms. I don't know. I think that could be recency bias, though, because Tony was so good.
Put them together. Just like, fuck the old white men. Let's put Tony and Tekla on commentary together. There's your
Make them a tag team at some point. Make them like a Cope and Cage kind of style tag team. Yes. That would be great. Oh, my God. Blair Line, in kayfabe, I like that Willow had to take an unfavorable spot in the Gauntlet because she's just coming back. Tino said, my biggest gripe was the random commercials throughout. They did 2 commercial breaks during this match, which was a bummer.
It's TBS and women's wrestling. Are we surprised? No.
Yeah, and I think they wanted to avoid having to go to commercial during the main event too much, which on some level makes sense. But did you have to do it during this match?
No. But
Blair Line says, like, the final spot in a casino gauntlet is not the one you want. Kurt Jangle said Willow using her entrance kick to lay out an opponent was masterful. Yeah, somebody, I forget who it was. Was it Julia or somebody? Ran down to meet her on the ramp and she kicked on the beat and kicked her over. She like did the thing with her arms and kicked somebody. That was great.
I want to know how much they practiced that.
Yeah. Larry Line says, I have heard some rumors that maybe this is not Tekla's first drunk promo in AEW. I have heard that she showed up drunk one time and got in trouble. I'm not sure if that's true or not. I've heard things said that who's to say in wrestling? Tony Khan, unless she gets fired, is never going to say. So, fucking mama, 2 times Tekla is hilarious. She said she wanted to motorboat Mina and made the sound. And the announcers were so uncomfortable. It was amazing. I love like, watching.
You know, they were all happy for a second. They're like, oh, Tony Storm might be out with the Juice Robinson parasite. We're going to have a break from this crazy shit. And then Tekla was like, nope. This is for you, Tony.
hold my 10th beer that I'm drinking before Dynamite. Tino Ibarra, she said, Tony, hold my beer. No, wait, I'll continue to hold my beer and say crazy things. Tekla being Florida drunk on commentary was so much fun. Always never. Tekla is able to put down her opponents, but not come off like you are denigrating them like Mariah May did. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. She doesn't come off just like a mean girl. She does build up her opponents, but it's in the most degrading way possible. It was Athena that Willow kicked. Okay. Sisters of Sin were just menaces throughout this whole match. I loved it.
When they were attacking the security, I was just dying. I was like, oh my God, what are, like, just make these 3 complete fucking menaces, please. Like,
yeah. Oh, fucking mama references another great quote. When Tekla's talking about being in Vegas, she goes, I won 10,000 and ended up with a stripper on my lap. It was great. Yeah, Mina posted that she learned 2 new words this week, blow up doll, and I forget what the other one was, but motorboat, that was the other one. And then Funky Mama says, Tony is the best on commentary, but Tekla isn't far behind. They're both so good. I cannot wait for them to feud. I see why Tony wanted to do that at All In. It would have been great. Yeah. But I'm glad that he got forced to go in a different direction. The women's division just needs more stars so that they can be on TV more, you know? After the match, Willow's, very, happy to have won. Tekla spears Willow. The Sisters of Sin were going to come back down the ramp to join Tekla, but Divine Dominion cuts them off and beats their ass. And then Mercedes takes out Tekla with the Owen Hart belt. Holy crapola. The announcers then said Mercedes has a deal with Divine Dominion. Holy fucking shit. Please make that permanent. Please. Please. Books, what were your thoughts?
Oh, I loved it. For some reason, I think that works really well. So I want to see how this goes, because I also think Divine Dominion needs to drop the titles, but
I mean, they haven't even been champions that long. It's just they haven't been able to defend them that much because they really haven't had quality opponents.
I really would love to see them versus the Sisters of Sin. So
Blurry Line said, it's sad that Tekla had to spend all her stripper money on fines. And Mercedes was sitting on the lifeguard stand this whole time. I know. But it was that I like the idea of them being affiliated, because Megan was Mercedes' second when she was wrestling Persephone in Mexico. So there's been kind of an allegiance teased off camera for a while. Fuck your mama 2 times. Stop being a weird coward, TK, and give the women their own pay-per-view. Agreed. Blurry Line, and they had matching gear, and yes, Mercedes and Divine Dominion have matching gear. Fuck yes. Fuck your mama 2 times. I love Megan Bayne. That is all. The matching gear with Divine Dominion and Mercedes made my brain happy. Yeah. Mercedes' deal with Divine Dominion is the same as MJF having a deal with DCF. Yeah. I don't know if it's temporary, but it wouldn't hurt my feelings if it was permanent.
Yeah.
Tino says Sisters of Sin are tiny, so tiny compared to Divine Dominion. Like when the Turtles met Toka and Razor in TMNT 2, Secret of the Ooze. Wow.
Underrated classic, that movie.
Yes. Starring Kevin Nash as Super Shredder. Mercedes just wondered why Camille became more talented since the last time they spoke. Oh, that she thought Megan Bayne was Camille. Yeah. And had a new Australian friend. Benny the Bear. We've always said Mercedes needs a heater. Now she has 2. Count them 2. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Willow versus Tekla is official for Redemption. I wonder if maybe we'll get Divine Dominion versus Sisters of Sin as well.
I hope so.
Yeah. Does Willow beat Tekla to face Mercedes for the 3rd time?
Yes.
Or do we do heels versus heel with Mercedes and Tekla, because neither of them is showing any sign of turning face?
So my original thought was, after Tony got the parasite, it was obvious that Willow was his next pick. The Gauntlet seemed too random. Like, it just seemed like, okay, we need an excuse to make Willow a champion for a little bit. It just seemed too weird. The Gauntlet being now just seems too weird, because usually the Gauntlet's on All In, so why do it now?
Yeah.
So Willow versus Mercedes has more meaning story-wise.
I agree with that.
And I think the original plan was for Willow to beat Tekla at All In, with Mercedes then making her return.
And then she had to come back early because Willow got hurt. Right.
Yes.
I think there is a case to be made for Tekla to retain. And all that is really is they both have backup. They both have an entourage, So that kind of like could make for an interesting story, because it's almost like a faction versus a faction. You know what I mean? Which I think is interesting. But I agree with you that when you're trying to sell a pay-per-view, I know that we're talking about how, baby faces and heels aren't as conventionally necessary as they used to be, but they sell matches better when there's a defined heel and a baby face. And if you already have Kenny and Will kind of in tweener territory with each other, you probably want a more conventional lineup.
Plus, let's not forget, Willow was the one to beat Mercedes, and why Mercedes took a break in the first place.
Right.
So, I mean, when we're talking long-term storyline, that's your story.
Kurt Jangle his phone is about to die. When do we get to talk about Hacksaw Jim Duggan? We don't. Nope. All right. Bleary Line, but I feel like we struck whilst the iron was hot, putting the title on Tekla, but we haven't struck any more since, and the iron's still hot. Irons don't stay hot forever, though.
I would argue Tekla doesn't need the belt right now. So take the belt off her, but continue to have her doing what she's doing. Have her be a menace. Have her continue to torment not just the AEW women's locker room, Stardom, and potentially CMLL. This will force Tony, because he has another, and I think he's getting Tekla's another Tony Storm for him.
Yeah.
This will
that he's
force
hit the jackpot
him,
with her.
Yeah. This will force him to book more women by taking it off of Tekla right now, because she is hot. So you have to keep her on TV.
Yeah.
But
well, and she's a star people want to see and they expect to see now. Blair Line said Mercedes and Divine Dominion versus Willow and Brawling Birds. That's a good call. I think Divine Dominion and Brawling Birds is what's happening at All In. They'll beat the Sisters of Sin at Redemption. Tekla drops to Willow, and then Brawling Birds have Willow's back in the feud with Mercedes. That is probably what will happen. And you know what? It'll be awesome.
Yeah, which, because I can actually see the Brawling Tony putting the tag team out in the Brawling Birds.
Oh, I think
I think they're the only ones that can actually go up against Divine Dominion and win.
Yeah.
They've kind of been playing up them being too rough and tumble, so like they can actually take out.
The only thing I feel bad about in any of this is Penelope Ford.
Yeah.
You know, just being kind of sidelined, and now Mercedes is with Divine Dominion. It's like, oh, fuck. Tina says Triangle of Madness could just feud with everyone. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. They're just assholes. Okay, moving on. Also Maya World and Athena are definitely fighting at Death Before Dishonor in Philly, and I think Maya's taken that title off. Athena.
I think she's their next big one, and I think they've all they know this.
Yeah. Blairy said they need to have a match on the pub set that all the vignettes are shot from. Agreed.
Yes.
That would be so badass. With Divine Dominion. That would be so badass. And Tina goes, well, they are birds that brawl, so. Okay, controversial take here. Never thought I'd say it. Chris Jericho had a good match. We won't spend too much time on this, but Jericho and Ciampa had a really fun match.
It was fun. It was entertaining.
Yeah, it was very entertaining. It felt like a blood feud style match. Jericho took a crazy face first bump on the stairs. That could have been very, very ugly. But they brawled. They made full use of the very fun beach break set. Ciampa at one point tried to use a bucket full of sand on Jericho, but did not succeed. But it did leave a lot of sand in the ring, which allowed Ciampa to then throw sand in Jericho's eyes, hit him with a bicycle knee, and pin him. It makes sense for Ciampa to win. He's a heel. You know, he's establishing that he's a heel. He'll do whatever he wants. Tommaso Ciampa had a good match that Jericho happened to be in. Come on, you got to give Jericho a little credit. I thought he looked better than he has in any other match since he came back. Then Ciampa, after the match, hits Jericho in the head with the chair and leaves him laying. This writes Chris off for a while. I would love it if when he came back, it wasn't against Ciampa.
Yeah. Is there still more tour to be done? Why is he being written off? I know it's not because he's like suddenly taking a last minute contract. He's made it very clear he's retiring from AEW. But I was just wondering. Yeah. Because it's not time for the cruise yet, so.
Blairy said Ciampa did end up with a bleeding butt. That is true. And then Taz was talking about sand getting in a cut on your butt, which, yeah. Blairy also says it did take Jericho about 5 minutes to blade. But, you know, I think the chair shot to the head was designed to say, like, he put him out for a minute, you know?
Yeah.
I don't think it'll be super long. But what I don't want is Jericho to come back and for them to have a bunch more matches that Jericho eventually ends up winning. I don't want that. Like, if they just finish it here, Ciampa's gained something tangible from it, and Chris doesn't need anything from this. You know what I mean? He doesn't. Just move on. With Ricochet, they had way too many matches, and Jericho won too many of them.
He's doing a really good job at actually putting people over right now, which was never really his issue. But, like, that's what he's been doing, right? He put Ricochet over. He's put Ciampa over. Like, it'd be interesting to see who he goes up against next.
Yeah, I think Jericho should move on. And if he moves on, he'll have done good by Tommaso Ciampa and helped get him over a little more and go about his business, you know. I think Aubrey ended up having to help Jericho because that was like trying to get juice from a dried orange. And this was a one-match feud. That's all it ever needs to be. In this case, I think so. Because if they keep having matches, Jericho's going to win one, and I don't want that for Ciampa. The mistake that's been made with Chris in the past is too many rematches, and him getting his wins back cheapens any attempt at getting someone over. I think that's what people are talking about when they mean the Jericho Vortex. He lost that match to Eddie Kingston at Revolution by submission. It was a big deal for Eddie to beat him, but then they wrestled like 17 more times, and Jericho beat him like 3 more times. Like, what did you actually do for Eddie? If that's the case. But if it's just left like this, Ciampa genuinely benefited from it, and I think Jericho did a good job helping him out. All in all, this is the best Dynamite of the year. I am all the way back in. I wasn't out on AEW, but the last 6 weeks since Double or Nothing were weird and a bit stilted as far as story development.
I was out.
Yeah. You seemed like you were pondering maybe taking a break.
I did take a little 2-week break.
Right. And perhaps a longer one if Kenny lost this match. Yeah. AEW just felt kind of blurry since Double or Nothing. And it was hard to see how the dots were going to connect, But this was an all-timer episode. Just about everything hit super hard, and there wasn't a dull moment. The least necessary thing to me was the Mox Ospreay versus Workhorseman match. It kind of went on for a long time.
Yeah, I had that as a squash, and I was like, this is way too long.
Yeah, the Workhorsemen haven't been treated this seriously before on television, so I didn't really see the need. But we did get a Brawling Birds video package and a Sheeta video package. That was an improvement. This was the bare minimum, but I'm glad they at least got there on Dynamite. There was 12 women featured in the Casino Gauntlet, if you count Divine Dominion and Mercedes and Tekla. All in all, fantastic show, and the build to All In seems like it's truly underway now. We're going to read the last few comments from Blurry Line here. You get stuck in a feud with Jericho. He's very much addicted to that early 2000s WWE style structure. Every feud is 3 pay-per-view cycles. Totally. Books is absolutely not on the show if Kenny didn't win. She's outside Tony's door with a comically large mallet. Yeah, like the Fiend's mallet.
A mourning veil in my cart for a company that I'm not going to say their name of, but it was the only one that would get here in time if he lost.
Yes, yes.
I was going to be in full blown mourning. And then
I sent you a DM the day after and said, so I assume you'll be joining me on Friday. And you were like, I'm a little bummed I don't get to buy the veil. But
I was very sad I couldn't buy my veil. But it's all right. I got to wear all my other Kenny stuff. So,
and we got to talk. We literally spent 1 entire hour pretty much talking about Kenny and nothing but Kenny.
I love talking about Kenny. Talking about Kenny for an hour is a dream come true.
Yeah, I do know how much you love it. I've talked to you a lot about Kenny, but I also love talking about Kenny. Aw, I'm so happy Kenny won that I didn't make jokes at Blade's expense. Wow, Yeti Malone. That is awful big of you. Blurry Line, just save it for when Kenny's next stretchered off. And his guts explode.
The church has written one too many nicely worded, strongly worded letters to Tony Khan. If he does that to me again, he's going to have a problem.
Okay, everybody. Books, is there anything else you want to promote before we go?
Check out the Books and Beck show on the Don't Call Me Diva channel.
Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube. Make sure to give us a thumbs up on this video. Make sure to click the bell to be notified anytime we go live or upload something new. I'm going to be uploading a lot of shorts. I'm working on a big project that Books is going to be a part of, that Professor Degree is a part of, that Joshi G is a part of. I'm so excited to share it with you.
And Kenny.
That'll be coming very soon. And Kenny. All right, fine. And Kenny. But I'm off next week from this show. I will be here with Professor Degree on Monday. We are doing Into the Wrestleverse. What if Sting was the third man in the NWO instead of Hulk Hogan? But until next time, I'm Blade Daly.
And I'm Books and Bodyslams with Kenny Omega.
Pro wrestling forever.